welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. And I am presenting to you all today part 2 of our series, where last week I had on the very talented Minecraft content creator and musician of the band The Bell Beat on the show, named Randy Bishop. And I have him back today, where we are going to pick up where we left off with some Redstone. And then we're going to go into their musical career and hear about that. And I even have Randy play a little bit of his music at the very end of the show. So you got to stay tuned for that, folks, because he is a talented musician. So whenever you are all ready, I would like to begin this part 2 discussion with Randy Bishop. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to part 2 Realm News, where I have Minecraft content creator Randy Bishop. You are familiar with him from last week. He came onto the show and was telling us about his constructs and how he got into it and everything around all that. And this week, in part 2, we will be getting back into his Redstone gadgets and his builds in Redstone, and I'm going to pick his brain a little bit more about his production. I have some questions over that before getting into his musical background and the band that he's in. Before I go much further, allow me to tell you who I am. I am the host of Realm News, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. Welcome back to the show, Randy. I know in our podcast time it's only been a few seconds, but we're going to go ahead and pick up from where I left off. I almost asked how you've been. I was going to treat it like a whole week lapse, but we aren't going to do that. I want to pick up where we left off, which was on Redstone. I wanted to ask, how was it that you got into Redstone? Was that something that you started doing right off the get-go when you started playing Minecraft?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, actually, this is a funny story. So I work in computer programming. So I work, as you can imagine, with a lot of gamers. I'd say I'm probably the exception to the rule as far as outside of Minecraft, I don't really play many games. And like I said in the previous episode, at least I think I mentioned, I hadn't really played games since I was a kid. I don't own any contemporary consoles, or PC gaming was never a thing that I was into. But my coworkers, a bunch of computer programmers, are super into it. And one of them, who I'm very close with, he's like, you have to play Minecraft. You will love Minecraft. And I think I mentioned this in my last episode too. I was purposely avoiding gaming, because especially games like Minecraft, because I knew I'd get hooked. Yeah. And when he said that, he's like, you're going to love Redstone, because Redstone is essentially programming in the game, and people are creating these, and he went on to explain how people create computers and they create Minecraft in Minecraft, and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So as soon as I was introduced to Minecraft via my son, who was 5 at the time, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out, like, what is this Redstone stuff? And there, the ball started rolling.
No, that's a way to get into it, that a coworker turned you on. That's interesting. You're not the first person to tell me that coworker was the one that kind of convinced them to get into.
Yeah. I mean, my 5-year-old was definitely the catalyst for getting the game, but Redstone specifically was like, okay, this is something that I'm going to probably enjoy. And then at the same time, when I immersed myself in the Minecraft universe, I started watching Mumbo Jumbo, and I started watching Hermitcraft, and then slowly discovered Etho and Tango, and a lot of those players. And
Mm-hmm.
then the Redstone came. It's like, oh, they're doing this. Oh, Impulse has this way to filter items. Oh, there's this um, conditionals and different, things that I've learned in programming for a very long time. Like
Mm.
variables and what have you. But you can do it with Redstone. And unfortunately, when I first started playing, I was playing in Bedrock, and there are some quirks. In the
Oh,
vast majority of Redstone, like really deep Redstone, is done in Java, as you've probably discovered
yes.
yourself. Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Bedrock at all. But when you're trying to learn and you're, perusing the aisles of YouTube, it's
Mm-hmm.
mainly, there's a lot of Bedrock content, but it's mainly Java when it comes to really deep Redstone. And that's because they have, all the weird, well, one, they have consistency that Bedrock
Mm.
cannot duplicate whatsoever. And for two, they have the quasi connectivity and all these like weird little quirks that are kind of built in to a lot of the real complex and sophisticated contraptions. So that was actually shaders. I mentioned last episode. Shaders was
Mm-hmm.
my main motivation to going over to Java, even though I don't play with shaders on. I just wanted to see what my builds look like with shaders. And then my
Yeah.
second motivation was Redstone for sure.
And you mentioned that you watched a lot of like Hermitcraft, and was that were they mostly inspirational that got you into Redstone, or did you learn most of Redstone mechanics? You are also a programmer, as you
Mhm.
said, so it's just you have this natural way of just the know-how behind it, how the mechanics work. But did are you pretty much self-taught on how you've made your redstone farms, or do you mimic videos that you watch online?
I mean, I've learned a lot from videos. I
Mhm.
mean, there's just so much. Like we talked a little bit. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall here. We talked a little bit about the saturation of Minecraft content between these two episodes, and there's a lot of content out there, so it's really
Yeah.
tough to avoid it. Like you'd have to almost live under a rock to not be exposed to
You would.
especially if you're watching like Hermitcraft or any of the content creators. You're Chances are, if you come up with a redstone idea, 9 times out of 10, someone's done it better,
Yes,
more efficient,
probably.
or smaller, or more compact, or what have you. So, I wouldn't want to like describe, like, as a computer programmer, I'm definitely self taught. I went to school for graphic design, and then
Mm,
got into
wow.
computer programming through like web application development and what have you.
Oh,
But
cool.
Redstone, yeah, I mean, I know the fun after you learn the fundamentals of what each component does. There's not a ton of components. Then you start learning about like what certain circuits do and how you can like use that component within the circuit. And right when you get your head wrapped around that, then you're
Mhm.
pretty much on to creating any contraption that you want outside of like creating a computer. Like that's a whole other level. But if you wanted to
Yeah.
do like a um I don't know. I'm thinking like any Hermitcraft fans out there, like Pearl this season created Wordle in Hermitcraft,
Oh,
in
that's
Minecraft.
cool.
And I can totally see how that would work. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Pearl or any Redstone creator, but with
Mhm.
any knowledge of like your basic knowledge of Redstone as far as how item filters work, anyone could probably build that game with enough stick to itiveness to actually execute, because it does take a lot of like tinkering and what have you, especially with the timings of it and everything. But as soon as you learn how item filters work and how to hoppers work and all that stuff, you could probably figure it out. However,
Yeah.
when you figure it out, it's probably going to be enormous. It's going to take up like a football field. You're going to have to run into like chunk loading issues and stuff like that. The
Uh-huh.
real power, I think, of these geniuses on like YouTube and Redstoners and stuff is when they can make that same thing in like a chunk, like like
Yeah.
one little 16 by 16 area, and all of a sudden like your whole crazy contraption can be pushed down into that. Like that's the area that I'm not quite there yet, but I can given again that it's not like a supercomputer or anything, I could probably create most contraptions, like Decked Out, for instance, which is Tango's game in Hermitcraft Season 9. huge, beautiful, enormous game. But if you look at it, yeah, he's basically taking up football fields of Redstone, and yeah, like, and he's just trying to make a game. And Tango has a computer programming background. I could probably make that game, and I think most Redstoners could probably make that game. It might be even bigger.
Yeah.
It might actually not work as well because of the size of it. Stuff like that. It's more about like coming up with the idea, the design. That's the challenging part, because the actual programming itself, the Redstone itself, isn't that hard right when you wrap your head around the fundamentals of the components.
Hmm. I think there's also a fine line where there's a balance between aesthetics and redstone
Yeah.
contraptions that have to be met, because I've seen them be utterly ugly
Yeah.
online and practical but ugly, and something that you probably wouldn't want in a town, maybe in an industrial park. And then I've seen some, like I have a friend that follows the show and who goes by Blackstone Moon, who does a wonderful job with like masking their farms with just beautiful aesthetics. And I've seen that in your builds
Yeah,
too.
that's
So
what I try to do.
could, yeah, I've noticed that you
Yeah.
do a great job with that. That was my first impression with your videos in your Redstone videos is like, wow, that looks good. And could you tell me, how is it that you balance your aesthetics with the Redstone?
Well, usually I start with the redstone. I don't build a
Mhm.
structure and then try to squeeze the redstone in. That's like a fool's errand. This
Yeah.
is never going to
Yeah.
work out unless you take the approach where you like almost put the redstone off site, like it's underground somewhere and then you have a building on top of it. Like that,
Mm.
that's possible. But typically how I approach it, like for instance, I have a gold farm, and the gold farm has a almost like a redstone engine underneath it that's gathering up all
Oh.
the drops from the zombified piglin kills, and all so they drop nuggets, ingots,
Mhm.
gold nuggets, gold ingots, um, armor, and rotten flesh. Those are like the four drops. I might be missing something, but so I created the filter system first. Like the first thing I did is I
Mm.
laid out all the chests, laid out everything I needed to do to like hoppers and everything to filter items, and I actually am smelting their armor, so turning into ingots, and then the ingots go into auto crafters and become nuggets go into auto crafters and become ingots, and then drop below into a pillager or sorry a um, piglin bartering system beneath. So I created that whole like little engine first, and then I just built around it to kind of cover it and give myself a little bit of walking space. So if I have to troubleshoot or anything, and that's usually how I approach things, is I'll start with the redstone. I'll start with the guts of the build,
Mhm.
and then just build a system around it.
That makes sense. No, that makes perfect sense. Gosh, I haven't done too much redstone building. I've played around with it, and all of mine look utterly ugly and bulky. And that is that my hat off to you, because that's a feat to
Yeah.
accomplish that.
Sometimes
And
though, like I don't really mind like redstone wires. Like a lot of people try to like hide things away. Like I have a bee
hmm
farm right now, and I'm getting honey bottles and honeycombs from it.
hmm
And it, you have to kind of create like a filter system, like a comparator outside the back of the hive that will see when the hive is full of honey. So when the dispenser will, use shears or the bottle to gather the honey or what have you. So it's very similar to an item filter system. It's doing comparator power. So power of 3 means that the hive is full, and then the dispenser gets activated. I actually have that all
hmm
exposed. It's actually on
Oh wow.
glass, like all the redstone wire, because
hmm
the room that I put it in is like a little nursery farming, and I thought the redstone wire kind of looked almost like some sort of plant life kind of thing. It fit in
Okay.
with the mold.
Yeah.
So I don't I kind of lean in sometimes to the redstone componentry, because I think sometimes it kind of looks nice. It can fit, especially if you have like a lab, or in this case like a nursery.
hmm
So it's like a bunch of plants and seedlings and what have you. Having a couple like redstone lines that are activating and deactivating, so you see the animation of the particles and you see them glow and
hmm
then subdue. It's like I think it kind of fits into the living nature of what you're trying to build. So it, but at the same time though, I think a bunch of honey blocks with slime blocks, like just a big block of them might not be the most aesthetically pleasing.
No, yeah, no, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. There's a fine line, and no, I can see also where redstone wiring can fit into um, certain elements. So,
Hmm.
no, that in mine, I leave them out. I think there's one town in my world that I tried to hide the redstone wiring, and that turned out to be kind of a pain. I
Hmm.
like underground wiring is so I have all mine exposed, honestly,
Okay.
and I kind of gave up on trying to bury them. So I want to shift gears away from Redstone and ask you a couple more questions about some video stuff before going into music. I wanted to ask, do you collaborate with other content creators at all, or is it just pretty much it's just you solo that does these builds, right?
The builds, yeah, yeah, yeah. I basically world building in my Forever World and on Astrea, which is the SMP I play on. I'm yeah, the area that I take up, except for the shopping district on Astrea, I guess that is kind of a collab. But my shop itself is, just me. I've never
Mhm,
collabed, like truly collabed on a build. Me and Devin, who's another Astrea member, we were going to collab on a bridge,
mhm.
but I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how to collab. I ended up just building it.
Yeah, no,
It wasn't
I
that
probably
large
wouldn't.
though, so it wasn't like I don't even think it really needed a collab necessarily. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. I want to ask now. You say you play in the 1.20, right? So it's up to date.
yeah,
Like, are you
1.21.6 in Java is what we're on Astrea
dot
and my
six?
Forever World. I usually just update my Forever World to whatever Astrea is, the last couple versions at least.
Okay, gotcha. So you don't have the
No,
happy
we
gas.
have the Happy Gas. We have
Oh, you do.
Yep,
Gosh,
yeah,
yeah,
we
I
have the
know.
Happy Gas and the leads. It's the most recent
The most recent. For
major
some reason, I was
release. Yeah.
thinking like there's a point 0.7 somewhere, but I'm getting mixed
Point
up.
seven is
I don't know.
coming out. Yeah, it's the one with your favorite music disc.
That's why I'm getting mixed up with. Yes, and they've been stuck in 1.20 for or 21 whatever forever. It feels like they just keep
Yeah, they have been
micro.
actually. I didn't even really thought about it.
No,
Yeah,
it's been a discussion I've been having with some people online, and it's
I didn't
like,
even
man,
think
when are
about
they
that.
going to
Yeah, they've been
move
in
it
it
to the
for
next
a little
digit?
longer because that's when they introduced like the drop system, right? As opposed to like major releases, and they've been kind of stuck with 1.21 for a while.
Yeah, it's just been increments, just little, just nudging. It's like, are we just going to be stuck in in the 0.21 forever? But no, I wanted to ask. So, are you enjoying the Chase the Skies summer drop? What are your thoughts on that? Just kind of, I know that's a random question, but I'm kind of moving through these
Yeah, yeah.
questions here to get to the music part, and
Oh,
I,
no
I just
problem.
want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've only really played with it for a little while. I'm most excited about the lead mechanics changing,
Hmm.
where you can like lead mobs together now and all that cool stuff. The happy gas is kind of fun. I mean, I can see the potential as far as building, like if you're doing a ceiling or something in a large build, I could have definitely used that when I built my castle in the Forever World. That was a
Yeah.
pain. This amount of scaffolding that I had to do is just insane. Um, but that was a little too little too late. However, though, if you are building something like that, like this was deep underground, it was like my nether portal room that I'm specifically alluding to. I don't know how I guess I'd have to break the ghast out. It's like a 5x5
Oh
object,
gosh. Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
building an interior. It's like, okay, I guess I have to break him out. It was in a cave system.
Hmm.
That would have probably been an adventure trying to get him out of after using him. But yeah, I'm most excited again by the lead mechanics, and I haven't even really had a chance to like play with them yet. The happy
Yeah.
gas is kind of fun. I mean, it's all right. It doesn't go fast enough for me, but I understand it's made not for transportation. It's mainly made, to assist in building and what have you. At least that seems to be the motivation Mojang had.
Mhm.
So I don't really have an issue with it. And I think that's the only two real things that they added, right?
Yeah, that and the vibrant visuals,
Yeah, and I
which
play on
you
Java,
can't
so
play
yeah.
with. Yeah, unfortunately, I hope they get that into Java soon because I think you mentioned that you like to look at your world with the shadowing. I
Yeah, with the
think you'll probably
shaders,
like
yeah.
that feature with the lighting and shadows
Yeah.
and the
They
water
did change
effects.
like fog and stuff in Java, and I've always played with the simple fog mod in Java, which allows you to kind of almost do what they're imitating, or do what they
Mm,
brought into the game in vanilla now. But
okay.
it is a little different, and I am getting used to it. Like, and I'm still on the fence of whether I like it as much as just having the better fog mod seemed, I don't know, a little cleaner. I think, I don't even know.
Better?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I'm not trying to like knock on, but like they sodium. I use sodium, which is like a visual overhaul mod that it's a
Oh,
performance mod. But
okay.
there's also a mod called Sodium Extra, which gives you gives you sliders to adjust the fog distance. And I'm still
Hmm.
messing with those, and I have not found a good replication of the better fog mod using the sliders. And I think it's because they just completely changed the atmosphere altogether in Mojang. Like,
Yeah.
it's just completely, in Minecraft, Mojang did. It's just completely different. And that I'm still, again, it's like, huh. It's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't look quite as good as what I had going on with better fog. So yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry to hear that.
Mhm.
I don't know what's going on with the volumetric fog. I
That's it.
just
Yeah.
know
The
that
volumetric fog. Yeah. That's what the word I was looking for.
yeah, it looks great on in some people's stuff that I've seen. It looks amazing, but I can just tell you this, like if you're on a lesser device like mine, it's not even I don't even know why they made it an option to turn on. Like on my PS4, it looks so bad. Like bad.
Can you just not
Uh,
see far, or is it just,
Yeah,
yeah.
that and, like, my girlfriend, like, how she described it was it looks like it just has an underwater filter
Yeah.
on, like, everything's kind of a haze of blue, like, everything, and it the visuals are actually diminished with it on, and it severely degrades it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they would have been better off just sunsetting those devices for it like they did with all the others because and not even make it an option to turn on
Huh.
because I don't think you can I tried adjusting the volumetric fog and everything. It does nothing to improve the visuals. So I don't know. That's but like I said, it's an old device.
Yeah. It's a
I
shame though. I, that's what
but
it just seems such a simple thing to have a toggle for it, rather
yeah,
than, yeah, rather than kind of
I
forcing
would
it.
think so too.
The other thing
But in
I'm having a tough time getting used to is which I've seen this on Bedrock. A fellow Australia player was doing the something end. It was like a mod pack or a world where it
Mhm.
revamps the entire end, and he was playing streaming, and he had actions and stuff in another like thing on Bedrock. This is
Mm.
before 1.21.6, and when you look at the sun, everything kind of dims out, almost like you're looking through a camera lens.
Yeah.
Like the dynamic range gets
Mhm.
significantly limited because you're staring, you're pointing your camera to a very, very bright light source, that being the sun. So they're doing that in Minecraft. That I'm like, I don't think your vision as a player in a video game should imitate what a camera does.
Yeah, I don't think so
That seems a little
either.
weird to me. Like, all of a sudden everything it's almost like evening. It usually is when the sun's kind of getting low, but
Uh-huh.
it's exactly what a camera does. Like when it's a auto ISO on a camera and you focus in the sun, everything gets dark except for the sun, and then you turn away and then everything's bright again. It's like, yeah, that's not. I don't think that's a good idea, guys.
Yeah, don't do that. No, it yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean without being able to express it.
Yeah.
It's like but, the happy gas, my problem with that is that I think they need to I love the happy gas except for I've experienced some, the bugs with it, like,
Mhm.
my gas last night just died,
Yeah.
on a roof, and I didn't realize it the whole, like, corner glitch thing didn't could be just two blocks, a 90-degree angle. I
Oh,
thought maybe it had to be like an entire room, like a big pronounced corner, not just literally a 90-degree
is
angle.
that Bedrock only, or is that Java? This corner glitch?
I don't know. It could just be
Yeah,
Bedrock
I'm not
for all.
sure.
I think it is Bedrock because I had a friend saying, "I feel so bad for you Bedrock players today." I'm like, oh, maybe that's something that we're just experiencing because it's been a pretty big issue for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
I know that, and then there's the lag issues too. I've seen, and I think that
Yeah.
affects both Java and Bedrock, but even worse, it seems on Bedrock.
Yeah, there's I was hauling some villagers to a sky house I built and it was so it was so buggy what was happening. It was shooting me straight up into the sky when I was trying to land them because I wanted them to get out. I wanted to get land the boat so I could
Mm.
get them out of the boat, but I couldn't get my happy gas to descend. So it just kept going. And I was about 200 blocks in the air before I knew it. I was
Oh,
like,
geez.
how do I get down? And I figured out I had to like, I don't know, swivel my way down a certain way. It was really weird. Anyways, I know I'm getting off
No,
tangent here,
everything's got to be a little
rambling.
tougher in Bedrock. Tougher to create an iron farm,
I
tougher to fight the
guess
wither.
give you guys some ammunition in Java uh, to convince us to give it up. I want to move on here since I went way off subject there a little bit. Back to you mentioned that you watch some Minecraft like creators like Hermitcraft and whatnot, and draw some inspiration from them or you did in the past. Are there any major content creators that you really that you follow?
I mean, my favorite, hands down, is Etho. Etho is the OG.
Ethos.
I
Okay.
was a little late to discovering Etho, and I discovered him through Hermitcraft, obviously. But the first content creator I think I really started watching regularly was Mumbo. But Mumbo
Hmm.
always goes on these hiatuses. So then I started perusing other Hermitcraft players. And Etho is definitely my favorite for sure. But there's a few smaller creators that I really, really enjoy their content. Um, Low Res Bones is one that I think is doing absolutely fabulous stuff. Like he plays with a bare bones, he calls it, resource pack or shader pack or whatever. It looks like the Minecraft trailers. It looks like
Oh
the
wow.
little cartoons that they make. It's
Yeah,
just
I love
it's
those.
so cool to like watch him play, and he streams fairly regularly, like maybe every 2 weeks or so. But yeah, I watch every Hermitcraft video that I can get my hands on, and I've been doing that
Nice.
since season 8. Again, I'm fairly new to this whole Minecraft thing in general, but those are definitely my favorites. But hands down, like if I had to name one creator, Etho is my favorite.
Okay, cool. And actually, I'm not familiar with Ethos, so you just gave me somebody to look into. So
Yeah,
I'll
he's
have to
been
go
doing it
check
since
him out.
since beta version. He's been creating Minecraft content. The great thing about Etho is he doesn't apply any of the rules, the YouTube, especially the content creator rules. He never uploads a custom thumbnail, for instance. He doesn't care about
Okay.
titles that much. And he's got millions of followers. He's just so, his approach to the game is so authentic and so genuine that you can't help but love him. He's just
Oh, that's
he's a
cool.
good creator.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely have to go check them out. But I want to get back to your productions here and I want to get into the musical side of things because I'm quite certain that music has helped shape your Minecraft content creation. Am I correct in saying that?
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Could you tell me maybe how you mentioned last in part one, you've been playing music for a long time. How long have you been playing music?
Over 30 years.
Wow. And what do you play?
I,
Just tell me, just give me a rundown
I'm
on it,
primarily a
Randy.
singer songwriter that uses a guitar as my primary songwriting instrument. However, I do dabble in some keyboards and a little bit of percussion and drums and stuff like that. I can hang around a bass. Obviously, that's just a junior guitar. Sorry for all those bass players. But uh yeah, it's primarily singer songwriter. So I wouldn't necessarily consider myself like a virtuosic musician. I can play guitar fairly well, but I'm primarily using it to express myself through a song, like writing, a melody, lyrics, chords and stuff like that.
That's takes a lot of creativity to do all that. I've never written music before. I can only imagine in saying that. How has music helped shape your Minecraft content creation?
I'd say almost anything, like including my day job career in computer programming, everything. If we rewind, everything started because of music. So when I was in high school, I joined my first band. I just picked up a guitar because I wanted to learn how to play guitar and be a rock star or
Mhm.
whatever. And then I joined my first band, and my band
What
needed
was the name of that band, if I may
um,
ask?
Frame was my first high school
Oh,
band. I
cool.
don't think we really had any releases or anything. And I mean, we put out like little demo tapes and stuff, but no like
Yeah.
actual nothing's on Spotify or anything like that. Um, so that was my first band, and then that band needed, say, an album cover. So I'm like, okay, well, I've always been artistic, so I'm like, all right, I'll design up an album cover. In order to do that, you have to learn Photoshop or whatever application. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I'll learn that, and then we need a website. I'm like, okay, well, I think I could create a website. We certainly don't have the money to pay someone to create a website, so I'll learn how to create a website. And then, just snowballs from there. And then I created an entire career. Again, I went to college for graphic design, but not for computer programming. I
Mhm.
created an entire career. So now I'm a VP of technology at an ad agency, leading up a team of software programmers. And that's all because I wanted a website for my band back in high school.
That's amazing.
And same
Wow.
thing with Minecraft. So I wanted to, well, I started playing the game, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this content creation thing. Well, I need music, so I'm just going to write the music because obviously I can do that. That's the confident part, like the playing the game of Minecraft. I'm less confident than doing some music and scoring and what have you. But I already had all the gear, obviously, to record the episodes. I had awesome microphones and digital audio workstations and converters and everything. I'm like compressor. I'm set. So that was the easy part. It's like, so it
Wow.
all kind of stems from picking up the guitar in high school and getting into the whole music thing.
That's amazing. You just never know where something will take you in life.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
especially
way back in high
and
school.
that's just like the direct like technical lineage of things, like learning how to program or what have you. Then there's my band at its most active. We were touring quite a bit. We were playing shows out of state, and we had the logistics of doing that. I think really transformed my. It was very formative for my current career. Like you have to be quite a planner. You have to execute on that plan. You have to move all your gear, people, and your vehicle from one state to another, get there in time, set up all that, all that stuff, and have everything in working order. So the technical aspect, especially for like a small indie band, it's like we don't have like guitar techs or roadies or anything. It's like we're doing this all ourselves.
Yeah.
That really has a lot of parallels in the content creator world as well. Like you don't have, especially smaller content creators, you don't have video editors, so you have to learn it yourself. You have to figure out, a stream schedule. You have to figure out like when can I actually be available, or if you're on an SMP, when are other people available? Let me plan this event. And all that stuff is there's so many parallels with being in a band and creating content that it's probably too many to name.
Gosh, no, I see the similarities, and I want to step away now from the Minecraft altogether, and I want to talk about your band, which you're referring to the Bell Beat. Is that correct?
Yep.
And could you go ahead and tell me when did you guys form? Who's in the band? What do you guys sing about? What genre of music? Just yeah, go ahead and please tell me all about that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's called the Bell Beat. We're We have a website, thebellbeat.com, if you're interested in hearing anything.
It's a beautiful website, by the way.
Oh,
I
thank you.
figure now that what you've told me, you probably had a hand in that.
Yeah, I did that all myself.
Okay, it looks great
Oh, thank you.
aesthetically. I love navigating it. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
great
it's
job
just
with
one
it.
of those single page kind of. It was hip a few years ago, but it's holds up. It's fine.
It
Um,
does.
but yeah, we first really started as a full band in 2006, 2007. So we've been around for almost 20 years. Um, we've been through some ups and downs and stuff, and I'm not the most prolific songwriter, so a lot of that is my fault, but some of it's other people's faults. I mean, we're all grown adults, so it's tough to find the time and everything. So that's our excuse. But we were extremely active as far as touring and playing shows, probably between the years of 2007 to 2011, somewhere around there. And then we
Mhm.
started like getting busy with other things. I became a dad in 2014, so that kind of slowed things down as well. But yeah, we um, our genre. I mean, I like to call us like snobby indie rock stuff. But we've been compared to like My Morning Jacket, maybe Wilco, Big Star,
Yeah.
bands like that. So we started really folky, kind of alt country ish, and now our most recent stuff is a little bit more. Um, I don't want to use the word experimental. I think it gets a little too overused, but it's a little bit. Picture a marriage between like Radiohead and Wilco, or a little bit
Yeah.
right there, rather than more Wilco. Like earlier, we were more Wilco, and now we're a little more in the weird kind of maybe some drum machine stuff for electronic stuff or what have you, but not like electronic dance music or anything. Just we'll have a weird synth stab that appears out of nowhere or something like that.
No, I'm not just saying this to pander you because you're my guest, but I really enjoy that genre, that sound of music, and your band like fits the bill with me. When I first started listening to when I discovered you're in this band, the Bell Beat, I instantly went over to Spotify and I think I was at work and started listening. I was like, man, yeah, and you saying like Wilco and Radiohead, that yeah, I think that's what I was searching for in my head. That I was like, what do they sound like? And yeah, that's my kind of music. I love a lot of type of rock too, and various other type of genres, but that really just fits in with me, and I've been really liking it. And I've noticed now my DJ has caught on to it because on Spotify they have that DJX, and now he throws you guys in the mix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. It goes, oh, here's a band that you guys discovered, the Bell Beat, and then it'll just pop up one of your songs. So I think that's really cool. And so, how many members are there?
There's three. We were a five piece at one point, but there's it's a struggle to keep everyone like.
Okay.
I mean, personalities like and time, and there's just a lot going on. We've had quite a few ups and downs. I mean, it's been almost 20 years, so yeah.
Yeah, 20 years. That's a lot changes amongst people in
Exactly.
20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. We had
Uh,
some health stuff. One of and other like just personalities not getting along. Basically.
no, I can understand that. So you say you have three right now. You're the lead singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you play guitar. What do the other two do?
So a bass player, his name's Chris, and a drummer, his name's Joel.
Joel
Joel,
and
yeah,
Chris.
Joel.
Okay.
Joel and Chris actually both joined around the same time, so they've been with me since 2006. There was a hiatus with Chris for a little while. I won't get into the details of that. It'll be a whole
Yeah.
other podcast. But
Gotcha.
we're back, and we're recording right now. We got like 4 or 5 songs almost completed as far as tracking, and then I'm actually in the process of mixing them. I do that as well. I mix the music, and then we'll hopefully have an album out before the end of the year. But I don't know. I've been saying that for a little while. It's tough going, yeah. But yeah, we try to get like 10 to 12 songs done and then release an album. We're old school like that. We don't do like singles or anything.
No, I like that. That's cool, and I don't blame you for taking your time. You sound pretty busy being a dad. full-time job, a Minecraft creator. You got a lot going on.
Hmm. Too much.
But I do look forward to hearing it when it does release. You're going to have to let me know when it
I
does.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll definitely give that a listen and let my followers on Patreon know, and on my other socials, because I post what I listen to music wise as well. Um, I wanted to ask, do you guys go on tour? You kind of mentioned the scheduling and being on the road and not having groupies, so you do it all on your own. Do you guys book a lot of shows throughout the year?
We used to a lot more, but we've pared way back. It's like we had to make a decision a few years ago
Mm-hmm.
because we were just so slow with getting new music released, and every time we played a show, it would set us back like another month or two. Because we'd be rehearsing for the show and getting everything as polished as possible, and then you know executing the show and then resetting everything back up. And it was just, there's just a lot of work into it. And with everybody as busy as we all are, it was just a big struggle. So we basically said, okay, let's just pause in the shows for a while. And that turned into quite a few years. So right now we barely play live. If a good opportunity arises, we'll do it. And if or when we release the next album, we'll definitely play. Like a release show or something like that, and try to make a big deal out of it. And we might even do a couple out of state dates in that time. But yeah, it's very infrequent that we play live right now.
Nah, understandable. But I think that's really neat that you guys have booked so many shows and whatnot. I bet that's just like a rush you get. I can only imagine
Mm-hmm.
playing like a live show.
Yeah, it's just, and the thing is like we try to take it as seriously as possible. So you know, rehearsals before the show, like we might be getting together 3 times a week, and that's
Hmm.
for a bunch of guys with full-time jobs, and I'm a dad. It's like that's a lot out of your day. No Minecraft content is going to be coming out. That's for sure. If
Yeah.
I'm like working on a show, that's for sure.
No, I can only imagine. I I play a little bit of guitar. I took like a year worth of lessons, and that's my full extent. And that is, gosh, music, just art in general, is so time consuming and takes a lot of energy. That's a lot going on there.
Hmm.
What inspires your music?
I don't know. It's been so long. Like I don't really even think about it. I actually probably take it for granted. But I mean, I'm an enjoyer of music in general, so I'm
Hmm.
sure I'm taking some inspiration from just listening to other art and other musicians and what have you, and other bands. Um, but my process, like as far as like songwriting and what have you, I try to play every day. I try to I'm in my office right now, and there's 2 guitars behind me and 2 keyboards
Hmm.
behind me. So it's just right there. So in between like my day job, in between meetings or whatever, I'll pick up my guitar and just noodle. And typically I'll end up writing something just from that. Just most of my songs are just me noodling, chords, or trying to, I don't know, trying to put my fingers in places that I typically don't put them or what have you, and then humming a melody. And then I'm always writing lyrics as well. I just have like a Google Doc, and it's just constantly touching it just to write down different ideas and motifs and what have you. And I usually do lean toward like the social stuff, like political stuff and what have you. But I mean, usually it's steeped in a lot of metaphor, very heavily
Hmm.
steeped in a lot of metaphor. So you won't maybe draw a direct conclusion that that's what the song's about. But other times I'll write, cheesy love stuff and or about my kid or whatever, like just life experience. And again, always steeped in a lot of metaphor. So who the hell knows what he's talking about? Um, but I try to put a lot of effort into it. I don't, just half-ass lyrics for sure. I try to put as much meaning, deep, like meaningful meaning to me at least, into everything that I write lyrically, and then yeah, and just apply those to whatever melody I was humming, see how it fits, and that in itself is usually, uh, a a chore, not a chore, but usually it ends up warping the song to things that I didn't expect. And then I present it to the band, to the other two guys, and then they'll take it in a direction that I didn't expect either. Like recent song, for instance, I don't know how much you know about music as far as like the time signatures. Like most music that we listen to is in 4/4, so it's
Yeah, I do understand the
okay. Yeah.
4/4.
So usually I write in 4/4. Like, I mean, I dabble once in a while. I'll do like a swing, a waltz beat or a three-quarter time beat or whatever. But this one I wrote in 4/4, presented to the band. My drummer started playing it. I think he might have misheard it, and then he turned it into a 3/4. So then I had to like warp it.
Oh, wow.
So then long story short, from incubation of me noodling with a guitar with some chords and then laying lyrics to actually finish song is these like weird adaptations that happen and morphs that happen along the way. And then by the end of the story, you'll have something that's just entirely new, or sometimes you have something that's almost exactly the same as me in the acoustic. So it's an interesting journey for sure.
No, it really sounds like it. I could honestly keep you on this show for a whole other episode just to talk about music, and because it's extremely intriguing to me. What's the chance of one of those guitars behind you being tuned?
Oh, they're always perfectly tuned.
Are they acoustic?
No, there's an acoustic and a electric. I have a little amp too, like a little practice amp. So I have a Jazzmaster and a Lara V.
Any way we could hear a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I could. Yeah, let me set down my headphones really quick. I'll probably grab the acoustic because the amp is you won't hear it. I have to reposition the mic and everything.
That's what I was asking. I was like, maybe we can get you. I have about 5 minutes left before I can't go any further with the. I have the free version. To my audience out there on the Riverside, and I'm only limited to 2 hours. So
I wasn't picking up what you're putting down as far as the tuning. Yeah, so it's most definitely in tune with itself, but not probably perfectly tuned. But yeah, it's good.
Oh, awesome. And I'm going to have you maybe just play us a little something as we trail out of the show. But before we leave the show, Randy, I just want to say I loved having you on, and you're always welcome back to Realm News.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime. And I just want for the audience, I know that we threw it out there in part 1 at the beginning, but where can the audience find you?
So YouTube Minecraft content would be youtube.com at Randy Bishop Games, or just search Randy Bishop Games. And then Blue Sky, I am at rndyb.bsky.social, or just Randy Bishop. And then thebellbeat.com is my band.
Yeah, go check them out. I go through Spotify, but I'm sure that you can find the Bell Beat on any music playing platform, I assume, right?
Yes, yeah, you can find us on any streaming platform. So YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Music, all the places.
That is awesome. And Randy, thank you again. And you're going to grace us with a little bit of music as we end this show, right?
I'll try. I'm a little unrehearsed, but I think I could probably throw something together.
Awesome.
All right. From when you listen, I said how about we take a ride? To when your weepy mouth quiver dry, make it, yeah, we just might. Hold me near till old and dear, 'cause you won't see the thing tomorrow night. And if our power's bottled up, shame to drink it without you. How about that?
That sounds amazing, Randy.
That was like trying to hold up the acoustic. I have no mic position.
I put you on the spot there, bro.
That's fine.
And I appreciate it. And that I wish I could see you guys live, the Bell Beat. Everybody go check out the Bell Beat and go check out Randy's content at YouTube and on Blue Sky where he posts. And I'm going to have that all all of your links in the show description in part 1 and 2 so people can access it right there.
All right. Excellent. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you have a great day, Randy.
You too.
Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/realm news. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper, Diamond, and VIP tiers for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/realm news. No pressure, though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.